Welcome to another episode of The Other Russian. So, first and foremost, I must apologize for all those people who suffered throughout the previous episodes of my podcast because of the quality of sound. I must admit, I'm no technical guy. I said it before. I'm a humanitarian person, so I don't know shit about technology. I figure it out on the go, and sometimes I'm just having some difficulties. But with this podcast, I decided to just go with it, regardless of the level of quality of production, because I just don't have time to figure that shit out. I've asked my assistant to help me out on the go, but yeah, the previous episodes, especially the fourth, third one, what was it? Anyway, the previous one is like piece of shit in terms of sound, and I do apologize for this. So I tried to do something different here. I tried to record this particular episode from Airbnb in Delhi, where I live at. And as you can see, it's pretty basic Airbnb. So there's my luggage. There's this glass door, but it's not a door. It's basically a barrier with some other room, I guess. This is the entrance door. There's this is another door. So that door there leads to another room, but it's locked, so you can't go there. There's a small balcony, so there's a small kitchen area here. My bed over there, bathroom. Yeah, pretty decent for India. I mean, if you come from Switzerland, probably you'd be amazed, like with what you see. But for me, it's sixth time in India, so I know exactly what to expect from India. And I've been to Vipassana. I'm not that picky, really. I can't complain here and there, but I accept reality for what it is. But then again, it doesn't mean that I cannot complain about it and bitch about it, right? So today I'm gonna do a bit of an experiment. So I'm trying to pull this with music in the background, and I sincerely hope I won't fuck it up. Unfortunately, again, I don't have time to check it all out. So yeah, what I wanted to do is to tell you today about Mother Russia. So finally, fucking Russia. The Russian guy is actually from Russia. Yeah, so you know the context, the bit of my background in terms of when I left Russia and my perception of war and everything. But wanted to, give you some other, yeah, I'm prepared for talking in terms of putting some data in place, some references, some names here and there, and it is important that you kind of get more holistic picture of sorts. So I want to start far from meeting two Homo sapiens and my during my trip in Thailand. So I'm a bit distracted because I'm trying to find on the go two particular people because I didn't prepare, as you can imagine, properly. So, damn, where is she? Right, so I'm gonna do it anyway. So me and my wife, we went to Thailand, to Koh Phangan in December 2021, and we came back to Russia in January 2022. So on our journey there, well, we've spent 2 weeks in Koh Phangan, and we've accidentally bumped into founder bumped into a couple, just male and female couple. They they're from Holland, so well, they spoke English, perfect English, because typically in Netherlands, if I remember correctly, it's like 82% of the population speaks English, but I may be wrong here, so you need to fact check me on that. But anyway, it's somewhere in that area. So, the way we met them is really strange. So we were just browsing around and we went to 7-Eleven. Actually, no, we didn't go to 7-Eleven. We were just browsing around Dongsala. And then we saw this stand with like small pancakes of sorts. So there was this local woman making those pancakes out of the kitchen stove mounted on a motorcycle with a kind of connection here. So shit. You know what? I'm gonna just try and explain myself better using my second screen because yeah, so this is a bit of a context of where we're heading to today. So it is in Russian, and this is the study done by a friend of mine that I'm going to be using today to deliver the message and understanding of what is happening in Mother Russia in reality. And yeah, it was done in May 2022, so it is pretty relevant. But yeah, before we go there, so right. Yeah, so basically she had a stove mounted on like this attachment to the motorcycle and was cooking off from it. And there was this couple just ordering food from that stand, and me and my wife were foodies, so we love to eat, and we love to eat tasty, and we love tasty food. So we love to try some local food, and we I remember we went to Thailand, not Thailand, Vietnam previously, and we went from north, from Hanoi, all the way down to Saigon, Ho Chi Minh, right? And then trying all those local food at the stalls and the markets, and Vietnam street food is amazing, like top notch. But Thailand street food is different, and I'm not gonna risk go for Indian street food because it's just something you may not want to do or may decide to avoid doing. But in Thailand, Vietnam, it's very different. So we've been intrigued by this stand, and we asked the guys, like, sorry, couple, not the guys. I mean, living in the patriarchal society, you need to recognize the patterns that are being used, and saying guys is again one of those patterns of the patriarchal society. Yesterday, I had a really interesting conversation with the representative of one NGO in India, and we talked a lot about patriarchy and patriarchal society and how it works and male ego. Surprisingly enough, she brought it up by herself. I didn't even meant so, but anyway. So going back to that couple, and we asked them like, what's it like? What's the how's the food? So they tried it, say it's amazing. It's like, oh, okay, we're taking it, and it cost like, I don't know, maybe 10 cents or dollars of or euro, doesn't matter, like roughly in that area. So we'd definitely not be sorry for the money that we've spent on this, but we wanted to try. So we order food, and while she's cooking, we start to talk with each other. And then they say, they're coming from Netherlands and things like this, and we say that we're from Russia, and then of course they're intrigued to hear and listen our story. And yeah, by the way, while I'm not that far, let me just show those wonderful Homo sapiens to you. Right, so this is Rachel, and this is Jasper. So Jasper's been working at BSH with Bosch, Siemens, Neff, and I cannot pronounce properly. So for many years, so he's great guy, like amazing dude. So we connect with the couple instantly, both with Jasper and spouse Rachel. And Rachel does something very different. Sorry, just a pop on here. I get a message to be nominated, but I mean, I guess they just don't understand that I don't have any Indian entity here. But I mean, I could go with Sri Shakti pretty much, but I know. If anybody knows whether or not it can be nominated, I'd go for it. I mean, why the fuck not? We want to reach people out there. So yeah, there's just been some proposal done in the background. Ignore it. So Rachel is a coach, and what she does is basically helping. Well, it's all in Dutch, so I'm going to translate it for you in English. So basically, what she does is that she helps people to not blush when they're delivering a speech, maybe, or in general, actually. So, there's this natural phenomena. Well, it's not a phenomena per se, it is just a reaction of the body to stress factors or something different. So, one of the natural reactions of our brain, first of all, because there's this lizard brain and there's this cortex, which is more about, well, system one, system two, if you've ever read Oh shit, I'm so bad with names. Daniel Kahneman, right. So going back to the stress effect. So how does it work? There's something happening in the environment, and then our system reacts in a certain manner. So first of all, we're not reacting from the second system, which is thinking. We react from the first one. I don't know which one's which, but anyway, so they literally lives their brain basically. But there's a state so-called fight or flight, and I'm pretty much sure that all of you are aware of it. If not, just Google it. It's the way our body reacts to something. So when it happens, is our heart starts to pump faster, and then it just spreads blood faster to all the joints of body. So there's like a rush of an infused with oxygen blood that is reaching to all our parts of the body. Why reach with oxygen? Because our breath starts to become more sharp, and it basically kind of pumps oxygen in the blood. So this causes our this feeling of sensation around the body, like something is becoming rash. So like when somebody's lying on or somebody's saying something they wouldn't typically say, there's something happening with their body. So this is how this system reacts. So people may say something along the lines of, yeah, I trust you, and then touch their nose with their finger. But again, it is on a subconscious level, is their brain. But basically, why nose starts to itch is because of this rash, because of the sensation, because of the capillaries are being in I'm not sure I'm saying it correctly, but infused with oxygen rich blood. Anyway, maybe I'm wrong on certain facts here, but however, I mean, not the facts are right. What wrong is the specific terminology of it. So anyway, why am I telling you all this? Is because people react and people blush, and this is natural reaction of our body. So yeah, that's what she does. So basically, she helps people to not blush and control their reaction. So yeah, again, the reason I tell you about them is simply to kind of highlight the fact of me saying a specific phrase to them. So in January 2022, they asked me like, "What's it like? What's it like in?" Yeah, I'm just liking some water here, but yeah, fine. I'll survive. I didn't prepare for this podcast, as you can recognize now. I'm just doing it on the go. I mean, fuck it, right? Go back. So they ask like what it is, what's it like in Russia, and I tell them pretty much exactly what I've told you some time ago about living in Orwell's 1984, but it was in January 2022, and by that time, it's been like this for a while. So there are some people who still have this strange perception of Russia, and it is completely wrong in many cases. And I can help you to understand, and whether or not you want it, of course, that's up to you. But the idea here is that you've probably heard there's been an Academy Award lately and Oscars, and there's been one documental movie there that got an award. So the documental movie is called Navalny, and for me, it was a really, really, just like interesting thing to watch because I remember myself being in those circumstances when it all happened. So I'm just gonna show you IMDb. Go there and check it out by yourself. There's some advertisement heading after me. So yeah, just watch the trailer. It's 2 or even 1 minute, and if it's not worth your time, don't fucking watch it. But if you're interested in really understanding what it's like in Russia, it's like I don't know. In my view, 100% real. Because yeah, I remember myself being in Russia in like 2021 when it all happened, when the biggest blogger in Russia got fucking poisoned with some variation of Novichok substance, and it was proved by the Charité clinic in Germany because this was the place where he was transported on a special plane, which was funded by just some private Russian dudes no longer living in Russia. So they say, no, 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 we want to save this guy. And they made it happen, of course, with the help of his spouse, because she wrote a personal plea to Mr. Motherfucker and asked him to release her husband. So that's what they ended up doing. And yeah, I mean, just look at this movie, watch it, or check it out, at least just read about it, because it's fucking real. So let's go back to uh, situation in Mother Russia. So those things that happened on this occasion when he got poisoned, and I remember it because it was, oh, if I'm not mistaken, January, and there's been a massive kind of strike or gathering of people. The people just wanted some, justice, like try to kind of take control of the situation and gather and say out loud their disagreement with the current situation in Russia. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, the dude's being poisoned on a fucking plane. Like, seriously, this is like the biggest opposition figure, pretty much. And you're like, then everybody's as if acting as if nothing happens. Like, what? So it was probably the first time I went to the streets. Maybe after, yeah, I think it was one and only because it, I don't know. I mean, for me, it was too much. I thought, fuck it, just gonna go. I mean, if they're gonna arrest me, they're gonna arrest me. I wasn't arrested eventually, probably because of my beard and long hair. Maybe I've not updated my photos in their systems because I've heard that people, well, I don't know any close to me, but it's a fact anyway. I mean, you can find all the necessary information online nowadays if you want to. So people got arrested, and then people had visits from like police asking them like, why did you go there? Don't go there anymore. If you go there one more time, we're gonna jail you and sentence you. So, who wants to lose their life for just going out to the streets and not even trying to make a coup or anything, just to say something about the opinion that they have? So, yeah, let's go back. Yeah, sorry about that. What was it? No, no, no. Here, shit. Yeah, there it is. So just, yeah, again, bit of a context for you. And yeah, this is word context in Russian, in case you have ever wondered. So this study was done by a friend of mine. So he has his own market research agency, and he funded it from his own pocket. Nobody asked him to. Nobody paid him money. No state departments. No nothing. He just had this desire to figure out like what is happening inside the heads of Russians in the context of this is new language. So if you remember Orwell 1984, um, I didn't fight with anybody. It's just I missed this door opening. Um, so there's this phenomena is like new language, right? I don't remember how it's called, but in Russia there are a lot of it. So it's not a war; it's special military operations. So legally speaking, there's no war happening and shit like that. So once it started in February, over the course of the next few weeks, it was pretty much legally prohibited to say war out loud. So if you do it, if you post it somewhere, they're gonna ask you to remove it. If you don't kind of agree, well, it goes for business representatives rather than physical individuals, but still. So for physical individuals, it can end up in 5 years in jail. So if you make a post on one of those social networks that are still available in Russia, oh, by the way, Meta is a terrorist organization according to Russian legal system as of, oh shit, I don't remember, July last year, June, May, I don't know, check on this, but yeah, I mean, it is legally a terrorist organization. So Meta, as in Facebook, is prohibited, Instagram is prohibited. Funny fucking thing. I mean, those double standards, right, that I told you about last time. So WhatsApp is still being used. And shit, something happened. I think my my speaker went down, and yeah, music disconnected. So yeah, again, this experimental format probably is not that smooth as I expected it to be, but shit, I don't want to listen to it on my phone, man. I mean, I want to listen this on my fucking device. All right, it's just not gonna work, but let me give it a try one more time. Just for the sake of trying, and if it's not gonna work, I'm just gonna, continue without sound. Fuck it. Right. So where was I? Yeah, it's not gonna work. Fuck it. Right. Going back to that research. So the dude wanted to understand like what is happening inside the heads of Russians. And yeah, as said, I mean, you cannot speak about war in the open, especially if you're trying to conduct a market research. So, when you call people and ask them something, and then you start to ask them question whether or not you support the regime, the president, or what is your perception of war? Yeah, that's it. I mean, who is calling you? Like, maybe it's just a police officer. Maybe it's, they're trying you out, checking whether or not you're a collaborator of some sort. So again, I mean, imagine answering that type of question in Orwell's 1984. Like, seriously, who would ask a question different from the one that's supposed to be asked, and who would answer to a question that may then end up in certain consequences for them. So just try to comprehend this thing in your mind. Right, so going back to that research, I'm gonna go through quickly. So yeah, this is just for people to understand if they want to go into details, but it is statistically correct. So so there's some context to it, like what happened. So this is the thinking, like, oh yeah, this is the word I needed to Google because I don't know what it is called in English, and I'm gonna do it right now. So, fuck, no, not Ukrainian. Yeah, well, sorry guys. Unfortunately, our languages are heading further apart. So, not preferences, not mounts, not units, not devices, tubes. Shit. I don't know what is the proper word for it. So, there are some words in either of the languages that cannot be like appropriately translated in the English. So, it is not a setting. So, if you think about a coaching practice, if you think about some specific thoughts that you have around specific occasions. So there's this term for it, but in Russian, it is pronounced and is known as a word установки. But in English, I cannot really find a proper word for it to explain because it's not like mounting or anything. It is about like core pillars of your personality, pretty much. But it is like your mindset is the closest one, probably. Yeah, I mean, psychology. So again, mindset is not like 100% accurate. However, let's go with this one for now. So various mindsets, legitimization of the political decision, like whether or not you kind of support it or not, and the consequences. So again, it is done in, there are numbers here. So there are like 500 respondents, which is statistically minimum requirement to have a quantitative study because you need 100 at least. So if it's less than 100, it's bullshit after 100, but it's quantitative. Qualitative studies are different. They are like entirely, you don't care about the number of people, you care about the level of depth you get from some of them. Whereas on the quantitative type of study, it is about understanding of the general picture and the division into separate segments and whatever. So yeah, this is the quality of messages. So yeah, it was done through calling, and then there was like messages sent, whether or not you want to participate in this, and then people like finally clicked on the link. There was unfortunately 20% lost in due to some problems with the server, but then almost 500 people filled it which is great. So we can use this data. So yes, I mean, I can just, go through it quickly for those of you who want to stop here and there, just do it and have a look. But yeah, the idea here, so yeah, let's scroll all the way to the um like not results, but not decisions, but just general thinking. So this is the clusters of whether or not the people are supporting, whether or not they're agreeing with the decision among those who don't support. And there are certain segments. So I mean, there are different types of questions. So I mean, pretty entire like 90% agree that Russia is a great country, right? I mean, who would say otherwise? 10%. 10% they tend to either disagree or have some other answer probably, but that's not the point we're trying to unveil here. So yeah, do I have a certain position about war? 52% said yes, but for 36%, ratio. Yeah, so it is higher by 36% for those who support. Right. So this is not the most important one. I just can, get into very deep details, and you may want to lose me at some point in time. So I'm just gonna scroll through it quickly and try to recollect something from my mind. So this is a good one. This is an interesting one. So this is age and level of support of war. Well, special military operation, but let's call things by their names, right? So fight of elder against the youth. So this is eternal problem pretty much. So young people, 79% of them, they disagree and they recognize that there will be strong consequences, right? So they don't support. Only 21% of people up to 25 years do support, but decision, not war. I mean, you need to bear with me here because it's not about support of war per se. This is a mindset that we're gonna unveil in a bit. But yeah, I mean, if you see over the course of years, things tend to differ. So it is, pretty clear that the government run by people of 70 plus age would be supported by elder people. And this is the value of society, in my view, here, because in Russia, similar to India, there is this value called the respect for elders. And it is deep rooted in the culture for, I don't know, ages pretty much. I cannot really tell you where does it come from. I can tell you about it in India probably because this is Brahman codes that are written by Brahmins and basically man-written laws for entire patriarchal society. But in Russia, I guess pretty much the same. So the thing here is that young people understand that this is their life they're talking about, right? But the elder one, I mean, they've lived their life. I mean, they're getting there. So the average length of living in Russia, if I remember correctly, 65 years. So, they're gonna die soon. I mean, everything is behind them and they're shitty and sorry about their life in the majority of cases because they haven't accomplished shit. But there were reasons. I mean, I tell you, my father, for instance, I told you in 1998 lost a job. So, he could be even further if he was alive today. But anyway, going back to this particular one. So, I mean, you can see it by yourself. So yeah, those who don't agree, so 21% basically, uh, internal immigrants. The guy called them, he called them by segments. So internal immigrants, they're like, no, 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 I'm gonna go to the forest, I'm gonna go to another region of Russia, I'm gonna, shut myself down and get lost from it, or leave the country, basically. There are 14% who say, yeah, it's all bad, like shit, but I'm not gonna leave this country. It's my country. But still, they don't agree. They don't support. It's 21% of them. There is 22% they say, I mean, I don't support it, but I got my own shit to do, I mean, in my village, I have my own life here, 12%, 10% say, yeah, I mean, I love SSSR, USSR, but I just don't support the current leadership in their decisions. But overall, yeah, let's go back to the fucking USSR, 10%. Then 33% is so-called obedient plebs, I call it, but it's more, yeah, anyway. So whatever. You just just tell them that they'll do whatever. They're just, and there are again many reasons to it, like, because I mean it would affect their life, and then they're like, yeah, it's easier to just go with the flow rather than try and go and take control over something. So 23% actually, right, are the people who are on a fucking mission to rebuild USSR together with that guy. I mean, oh, so, yeah, there are people who do support decisions of crazy people, of course. I mean, 7 billion people or 8 billion people on the planet right now. I mean, of course, you can find people statistically. But then again, it is not 84% that are being fed by the propaganda machine of Russia. So this is the most interesting thing. So those are the portraits of those profiles. So those are 23% that support everything. So they're involved. Yeah, they're on a mission to rebuild USSR. What's the Железный занавес? Iron Curtain. Yeah, right. So let's put it there, motherfuckers. Close the doors and just not leave. Oh yeah, for your understanding, roughly eight, 80 or 90, I'm not sure here. Well, anyway, 80 or 90% of the entire Russian population do not have an opportunity to visit another country because there is such thing as a domestic passport and external passport. So this is something from the USSR times. It was a requirement, but it still lives to this day. And 80 or 90% of the entire Russian population, they don't have this foreign passport. Hence, they've never been to other countries, meaning they don't know shit. In fact, they haven't seen it, they haven't experienced it, they just don't know what it is. But yeah, I mean, 23%, what a coincidence, right? So, okay, but yeah, I mean, they still kind of struggle to recognize the reality of it, but yeah, I mean, they're full on. So 32 people just, yeah, I mean, get off of me. I have my life. I'll do whatever. So yeah, those guys, they're very supportive, like very strict, firm position. It's 97% or 74, not out of, but versus other segments. So still, there's like minimum but desire to end it all like now, even though 47% like want to end it war. 39% and actually 36 say, it's one country. We need to deal. We need to communicate with each other and find this situation. And so this is the description of the conforming plebs. This is those that are against power, but they want to go back to the USSR because they remember the taste of that fucking ice cream and empty shelves, I guess. Or maybe, I don't know, they miss further repressions. I don't really understand what they're missing, but I mean, sense of connection, I guess, and unity or whatever the fuck that means to them. So yeah, 12% they don't give a shit. I mean, I got a cow to feed. I mean, I have my own business. I don't need you. 14% like, what the fuck? I mean, seriously, you started a war, but I mean, come on. And yeah, there's a whole set of them. Right, so 7% like desperate as fuck. Pretty much that's me. So I said, no, fuck it, I'm leaving. And there are some interesting things written in here. I'm just trying to remember whether or not they're further somewhere. Yeah, so what is this? Those are the supporters. So yeah, this is not that interesting in my view. Right, so everybody, well, 20% at least say that, we have a lot of relatives, have a lot of connections. Obedient people, plebs, they say it's 43% connections in Ukraine, but yeah, whatever, kill them. I mean, what are we gonna do? They will just follow. And this is just this ridiculousness of double nature that I've talked to you on the previous podcast. If you've heard something at all there, because I mean, the level of sound is really that shitty. Anyway, yeah, I'm not gonna stop here because I'm just looking at time and I need to go to a meeting with another NGO. And then another NGO. Oh shit, yeah, right. So let's get back to it. Where was I? So social, yeah, surrounding, right? What is this position of social surrounding? Yeah, you can go there. Yeah, so this is the effect of propaganda. This is an interesting scheme. So you remember I mentioned to use 1984 in Mother Russia, and it is like this because pretty much entire television is controlled by the government. And if you've ever heard of the sizes of Russia, and you've probably heard of a meteorite called Tunguska. So Tunguska meteorite or Tunguski meteorite, at some point in time in the beginning of 20th century, fell somewhere in Siberia, and when it hit Earth, it destroyed roughly 10,000 kilometers of forest. Nobody found the place of impact so far. So yeah, that's the size of Russia. And there is this channel number one, which covers 95 or 98% of the entire geography. And on that channel, there are very loud people. You can compare them with some people from the previous big regime that failed in the middle of 20th century. And you can pretty much do like this. Watch what is happening, turn that history page up and compare like there's some interesting parallels here happening. So anyway, so scheme number one, TV empty head support. Scheme number two, well, I support it by default, so yeah, I confirm TV. Then there are people with some, not sure position, and then either support or not support. There are some people with like firm position, didn't watch TV, and then like, nah, well, watch or don't watch TV. Shit, I don't know what I'm saying here. Just yeah, fuck it, forget it. Yeah, this is an important one. So TV is effective. So this is the gap basically of 20% that highlights the difference between whether or not person supports or not whatever the fuck is happening in terms of the government decisions and shit like that. So yeah, as you can see with uh, I mean, this is right across. What is it? I need to read it carefully because I don't remember. So anyway, those who watch TV more often are 20% higher to support rather than those who don't watch TV. So if you go back real quick here, so okay, I mean, those 20% are distributed across the segments, of course. It's not only this. But still, I mean, you can really see the effect of propaganda machine, and it's just TV because the entire media in Russia is pretty much controlled because of the laws. So again, as I said, you cannot call war by its name. So I mean, what are you going to write about, really, right? And you cannot criticize, you cannot complain because they will shut you fucking down and jail you. And the amount of NGOs that were prohibited from Russia are just fucking insane. Basically, everybody were told, get the fuck out of here. And every second independent media or, sponsored by, let's say, Western donors, they were called foreign agents and then pretty much pushed into exile. So yeah, I live in Lithuania. There are a lot of people there from Russia. So yeah, xenophobia as well for those who watch TVs. For those who don't watch, it's not that critical. So yeah, you can see uh, people who don't watch TV. They're they don't say much about whether they like it or not. Western countries, but those who watch, they pretty much don't like Western countries. So yeah, let's go quickly back to this one. So what I wanted to highlight here is that there are some questions and understanding. So basically, not questions, but insights. Yeah, finally, remember the proper word. So what are the insights? So basically, people are not, you know, against Ukraine per se. What people think is that this is their mindsets, like underneath what they are saying, right? So you know they think that this is, well, of course, attempt to rebuild USSR. This is like Iron Curtain happening, and people are not that against it. There's this fight against West. I mean, we've been бежали обида, блядь, как будет обида, ёпа? Обижали, обида. Сейчас. Блин. Offense, right. So we've been offended, we've been mistreated by others, of course, Western countries. We've been attacked. Like, what? What? Like, what the fuck? But okay, management knows better. Everything's going according to the plan for Russia. I'm part of this country. Yeah, for the greater good, we're gonna tighten the belts. These are, yeah, pretty much same things. These are different, of course, as you can see. And yeah, I mean, if you go deeper into reasons of those statements, like we've been attacked and things like this, you need to understand one simple thing. So people don't perceive this as if like real physical attack, not as if Ukrainian or NATO tanks invaded Russia, but it is an attack of Western culture. So the reasons people think this way is that they've been told that this vicious West, double-faced, hypocritical, is making parents to choose sex of their children in the kindergarten, and nobody wants this happening in Mother Russia, so they feel as if this Western world attacked them using culture. These LGBTQI plus, or however many more letters are there. No offense here, please. It's just the way I speak. I'm just that guy, that the other Russian. But anyway, and this Netflix, this propaganda of gayness, and people are afraid that they would become gay all of a sudden because they watch a movie. So it is prohibited to use symbols of LGBTQI plus community because of rainbow. I mean, rainbow is being outlawed in Russia. Can you fucking believe it or not? I mean, like, seriously. But yeah, anyway, so they feel as if they've been attacked, and this big West that has been this mistreating us, teaching us what to do, how to live our lives and shit like that. So we've been attacked and we are, protecting, and we are the sole owners of the victory of the Second World War. Bullshit, of course. But this is the narrative that's been fed by the government throughout roughly 20 years, because there is this thing called War Military Parade on May 9th. It happened many times over the course of past few years, decade even. But before that, before 2000, and oh, I mean, if you take like this short period of 1945 to 2004, if I remember correctly, or whichever year was that, there were like, I don't know, less than a dozen, maybe six or five parades like this. And then all of a sudden, parade each year, and glory to the heroes. And the funniest thing is that they still kind of, I mean, even this year, so this is July 27th today, and even this year they've run a war parade, and then they've awarded money to the heroes of Second World War. And I just don't really understand, like, how old are they? But yeah, I mean, who knows? So anyway, this is the narrative that's been fed, and people are afraid that they're gonna be irradiated. I googled that word, so irradiated by this LGBTQI propaganda, and just get become insane and become these double-faced entities as well. So I mean, it's not that simple. It's not that all black and white. It's not that people do support whatever's fucking happening. But when it comes to the questions around like why don't you go and to the streets and overthrow the power. And then I've had this project that's still kind of lying on the shelf. Lacks it lacks funding basically. It requires like, I don't know, maybe $5 million or so. But the idea of that project was originally to make a paradigm shift in the conscious of Russians, and steer them towards the desire for change. Let's put it this way. So at some point in time, I have a conversation with people from the State Department, and I'm high as fuck in Thailand. It's like 11 in the evening, and for them it's early morning. So there are some human rights activists, and there are people from State Department high as fuck. I'm telling them about this project because of my level of English knowledge, and of course, all money are directed to Ukraine. I mean, makes sense. Of course, who would want to spend money on Russia, right? But yeah, I mean, the questions that they asked just fucking puzzled me. So, guys in the State Department, if you're out there listening, just, go through that deck here and then don't fucking ask questions like, can't you gather around in Russia, like build communities and, do some organized movement and things like this? I mean, seriously, I understand that you guys live on the other side of the world. It's like literally different continent, but do your homework. I mean, understand that your perception is very clouded. It is lacking real perspective, and it is entirely wrong. So this is the problem, because this propaganda machine that is working towards the outer world is working. I mean, they're oblivious of the real situation, and people still think that there's unanimous support of Russians in Russia, but it is bullshit. But this is the narrative that you've all been fed, or not all you, maybe some other people. So anyway, thanks for watching. I need to prepare for my upcoming meetings, and I hope I didn't fuck it up this time.